Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ryan Esdale, and on behalf of our faculty, staff, administration, and students, I welcome you to Ramsey High School's 113th commencement exercises that will recognize a truly outstanding group of students, the class of 2021. What a tremendously beautiful night. These kids deserve this type of weather. On behalf of Dr. Thum and I, we would also like to express our sincere gratitude to the many people that contribute to our students' success. We are tremendously grateful for our incredible teaching staff who weathered the storm, persevered, and worked tirelessly to create unique and authentic learning experiences for our students. A special thanks to Mrs. Altiero and Mr. Royce for collaborating with Dr. Thum and I. Thank you. We also want to acknowledge and recognize staff members Cliff Bialkin, Kelly Haslinger, Terry Souza, and Kevin McGuire, who are retiring this year. We would also like to extend our thanks to our Superintendent, Dr. Murphy, Mayor Dillon, Councilwoman Connolly, Councilwoman Cusick, Councilman Gutwetter, Councilman Weber, Councilman Kilman, Chief Gurney, and the Board of Education for your support of our work and extraordinary effort to support our unique learning environment this year. We would also like to take this opportunity to thank the members of the Saddle River Board of Education for their strong support of all of our graduates in the entire Ramsey School District. Additionally, I am compelled to give a public and resounding thank you to Maria Mitchell for helping Dr. Thumb and I organize this particular event and manage all of the implications COVID-19 have to offer. Thank you all. Lastly, but most importantly, I am extremely proud and honored to individually recognize the following graduates for their upcoming service to our nation. Tyler Hornage will be serving in the Coast Guard. And Mark Stella will be serving in the Air Force. The class of 2021 will forever hold a special place in my heart. We both started at Ramsey High School 4 years ago, and to say this class is special is an understatement. The one aspect of this class that sets it apart from others is that it's so rich in talent and personality. I would like to make two quick shout outs. First, to Molly Henry, who was the first student I met at Ramsey High School, and we fully expect to hire her back as an outstanding future educator. And second, to Jacob Magnus, who owns the greatest t-shirt of all time. From the bottom of my heart, I will miss you, the class of 2021. It was an honor to serve you over the past 4 years. We maximized our in-person learning experiences because of you, because of the example that you set. I wish you nothing but the best. The sky is the limit for you. To officially begin our ceremony, the Pledge of Allegiance will be led by President of Student Congress, Julianne Iacarino.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the national anthem. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Moving forward, it is my honor to welcome Dr. Thumb, Ramsey High School principal, to the podium to address the class of 2021.
Good evening, everybody. I'm going to keep my remarks. It's a simple reflection. I hope everyone will join me with it because the student speakers you hear tonight really speak for me. I'm going to continue with Mr. Esdale's sentiments of gratitude, and I want to begin with the top. I wanted to thank Dr. Murphy for his leadership, and part of this reflection is if you think back to this summer, we had to think of plans to reopen school, and Dr. Murphy was hearing conflicting advice. There was people that would suggest we should just go back as normal to, everybody else who on the other end might have thought we should stay out. So he managed that by pulling together pandemic teams. I also wanted to thank the leadership of the pandemic teams, Mrs. Caroli, who worked with Mrs. Andrea Nemeth, our head nurse, to keep us safe, Mr. O'Hearn, who pulled the finances together and bought us last-minute things and set us up for school, Dr. Matteo, who took charge of the curriculum, adapted our curriculum, and worked to support teachers in any way he could. The supervisors, the teachers, the coaches, Ryan Kenny, everybody in this community pulled together. And I want to thank the parents as well. I refer to us as a learning community where we learn with and from each other. And in this year, that was completely evident. When there wasn't a path, we made one. We made it up as we went along, and I think that the experience that these graduates had this year was about as best as we could do. So I'm extremely proud of what we all did together. We learned that it's okay to not be okay. We learned to look out for one another. We learned the power of empathy and gratitude, creativity, adaptability, and just to collaborate to find a way to make things happen. As we began to come out of the pandemic, we tried to pull this class together because they had been separated into two cohorts all year. Our first tries weren't so good. In March, we thought, hey, great idea, we're going to have a snow tube event. Well, it was the first 70-degree day in March, and that didn't work out too well. Next, we brought the class together to school for a day, and it ended up pouring. We were planning on taking their senior class picture. Eric Endres brought a drone in, and of course it rained that day, but the picture still made the yearbook. This class really deserved the perfect night that we have here tonight, the perfect night they had for the prom. They've soldiered through a lot. And finally, just to reflect, if you came in, you see there's all different chairs. The pandemic threw us one last curveball. Our chair vendor decided we weren't going to get our chairs last minute, and Mrs. Mitchell pulled together, and we all had to figure out how we were going to do this. So she approached, and I approached Mr. Joe Fojan, our Director of Buildings and Grounds. He's here, over here. I went to him, I said, Joe, we have no chairs. He goes, Mike, whatever it takes. I went to Joe Lutz, our head custodian, explained the same thing. Mike, whatever it takes. So they spent the last few days bringing all the chairs from Smith over, from Dater. So I want to give a round of applause to our custodial staff who pitched in. And class, that's it. Please take away this community feeling that we made it all through together. Every person in this group made this year happen. So class of 2021, this is the last time I'm going to be able to tell you this, but this is your school. And you proved it the last day of school. You took charge of the hallways. You're dying to do that, I know. And just remember that right now, it might be the last time that the arms of Ramsey High School are wrapped around you, but they also always stand open, welcoming you back. So we hope that you'll come back to join us, to teach some of the younger students that come, work on profile projects with you. We miss you. We'll be proud of you. We're excited to hear what you're up to. And one last thing, go Rams.
Thank you, Dr. Thumb. It is now my pleasure to introduce the valedictorian of the class of 2021, Sophie Cunningham.
Good evening, Ramland. First of all, I'd like to start off by offering a quick but much-deserved thank you to everyone who has helped make this day, and more importantly, this year possible. Thank you for working so unbelievably hard. Administrators, supervisors, teachers, staff members, coaches, custodians, bus drivers, parents, and everyone else from the Ramsey community who came together to give us as normal a year as you could. Your work does not go unnoticed, and it is very truly appreciated by all of us students, especially the class of 2021. As you all may know, I was named the valedictorian of Ramsey High School this year. What you may not know, however, is that I'm addressing you all today not only as a valedictorian of the class of 2021, but also by one of my more proud accomplishments, the almost unanimously voted recipient of the Most Likely to Be Late to Graduation Award. Actually, speaking of, I'm calling for a revote because I was on time today, all right? I really think that my acceptance of this award is kind of funny. I think it's fair to say that most valedictorians are voted most likely to become president, or most likely to be your boss, or most successful in 10 years. But no, not for me. The lasting legacy I leave behind after my 4 years here is my tardiness. Nice. In all honesty, though, I don't actually mind. Ever since finding out that I earned this title a few weeks ago, I started to wonder why I was chosen for it. Why am I always so late? After a lot of thought, I finally saw the positive side of my weakness. My 75 school tardies are not a result of laziness or inconsideration, but the outcome of my will to push the limits in life, a sheer desire to break through boundaries. It wasn't always my goal to be valedictorian. I just wanted to be remembered by my peers as someone who wasn't afraid to take initiative and secure what was theirs. I hope I, alongside my 200 classmates back there, have all achieved that today. The 2019 softball state finals was when I had my first epiphany, when I initially learned the importance of pushing the limits. It was tied up in the bottom of the seventh, and I found myself sprinting to second base as the potential winning run. I looked up to find Coach Caserta standing directly in front of me with his two hands up, commanding me to stop. Well, I did just the opposite. I kept running. I maintained my frantic pace, only halting when I flopped on my stomach just in reach of third. Looking back, I can definitely say that this was not my most graceful moment. However, I was now just one base away from the moment every player dreams about. And luckily, my sister was next up to the plate. She did what I've always admired her for, stayed focused under pressure, and hit me home. We were the champions. I'm wearing the ring today. Okay. Now, reflecting back on that experience, there's a lot to take away. Success comes from pushing the pace, pushing the boundaries, ignoring the stop signs, and pushing yourself. A famous journal Science article on the factors that contribute the greatest to success states that health, looks, and money are definitely up there, but none compare to the power of persistence and resilience. I learned that right here in Ramsey. Even though Coach Caserta threw up his hands, I knew I could make it. I knew I could lay down that bunt, even after being called out by the umpire on my last attempt, in the very same way that I knew the Rams would rise up this year. In a year when there could have been hundreds of stop signs to yield to, I watched our community carry on, full steam ahead. I saw teachers maneuver Google Meets and breakout rooms, tackling new virtual obstacles every day. I saw students come together to share the moments we were not all able to be physically a part of on the new online platform called Go Rams TV. I saw the young actors of our school perform an unforgettable rendition of Mamma Mia out on the big stage after a year-long hiatus. Life is truly 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you react to it. Like the famous litmus lozenge in Because of Winn-Dixie, life is sweetness mixed with sadness. Ironically, I experienced this myself when on the very same day I was diagnosed with COVID-19, effectively putting the brakes on the beginning of my senior softball season. I also received a call from another doctor, Dr. Thumb. He was giving me official notice that I was a valedictorian of the class of 2021. Success is not linear. It's something that comes from embracing the good with the bad. Prepare yourself for the fight, endure the tough times, and when you get a chance to make your play, blow through that stop sign and take what's yours. If you want to change something or be anything in this life, You can't be afraid to stray from the path, to break the rules a little, and never settle for complacency. Of course, I adhere to mandatory laws. My friends would probably claim that I'm the biggest rule follower they know. But it is also important to recognize when a breakthrough is necessary. Sometimes you need a little push. Thank you, Ramsey, for pushing me when I needed it most. Thank you, Mr. Walker, for teaching me what it was like to push through a 4-hour math final. Thank you, Mrs. Kilday, for pushing me to finish my common application before the last possible minute. Thank you, Bobby Taylor, for pushing me to the top of my academic game. You scare me. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for letting me push your patience to the limits and loving me anyways. And thank you to everyone here who has pushed me to be the best version of myself. I would not be up here without it. And of course, thank you to Mr. Esdell and Mr. Fanning for letting us push your buttons a bit too far this week. Again, we're really sorry about the table. I thank you all, and have a great night. Go Rams.
Thank you, Sophie. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Ramsey High School's graduating senior, Janie Ratto, who will be singing Butterfly by Miley Cyrus.
Hello. I will be singing Butterfly Fly Away by Miley Cyrus. I think it's really about the process of leaving the nest and starting a new chapter of our life. And to my friends who have heard me sing this like 30 times, this will be number 31. You tucked me in, turned out the light, kept me safe and sound at night. Little girls depend on things like that. You brushed my teeth and combed my hair, had to drive me everywhere. You were always there when I look back. You had to do it all alone, make a living, make a home. Must have been as hard as it could be. And when I couldn't sleep at night, scared things wouldn't turn out right, you would hold my hand and sing to me. Caterpillar in the tree, how you wonder who you'll be. Can't go far, but you can always dream. Wish you may and wish you might. Don't you worry, hold on tight. I promise you there will come a day. Butterfly, fly away. Got your wings, now you can't stay. Take those dreams and make them all come true. Butterfly, fly away. You've been waiting for this day. All along you've known just what to do. Butterfly, 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 fly away.
Oh my gosh. How about another round of applause, please? That was fantastic. I would now like to introduce our co-salutatorian, Julia Demerit.
Greetings. As we finally begin to demask and I gaze upon you all right now, I'm reminded of how beautiful the Ramsey community truly is. Thank you for being here today. I currently stand here proud to share the title of salutatorian with my friend and occasional academic rival, Bobby Taylor. Growing up in Saddle River, my first introduction to this community began during the summer before 6th grade, when a group of Dater girls reached out and invited me to the annual St. Paul's Carnival. I accepted their invitation with a mix of excitement and nervousness. I can still vividly remember feeling immediate ease when I saw my soon-to-be classmates excitedly awaiting my arrival at the fair and their eagerness to join me on every single ride. I'm proud to say that many of those girls have remained dependable friends to this day. High school soon became my second home, a home that certainly cannot be given its proper credit in the few minutes I have to give this speech. For the past 4 years, I've been privileged to attend a school where foreign language classrooms echo with the sounds of French, Spanish, and Mandarin. Our athletic teams have produced some of New Jersey's finest athletes, perfecting their soccer, lacrosse, football, field hockey skills on the back turf. On more than one occasion, our world-traveled marching band has serenaded the halls with an outstanding instrumental remix of Britney Spears' song Toxic. And by the way, free Britney. And most importantly, one doesn't have to look further than our school's very own cafeteria to find the world's best chocolate chip cookies. More so than ever before, the perseverance of our community shone through during this unconventional school year. Our faculty worked continuously, striving to give us a real school experience. I do have to commend Mr. Esdale and Dr. Thumb. They really did a phenomenal job instituting stringent COVID guidelines while revamping their once favorite phrase, "This is your school," to their newest catchphrase, "aggressive compliance." I'm not entirely sure anyone here can actually define what that means, but throwing the two words together seemed to work out pretty well, so we won't question it any further. So throughout this year, everyone tried to aggressively comply with the rules and regulations set in place to keep us COVID safe, like using the one-way hallways, the face covering requirements, the social distancing, and my personal favorite, the open window policy. There was nothing like sitting on class on the coldest winter day and seeing my own breath with every exhale. I can honestly say the open window policy gave new meaning to the phrase aggressive compliance. When I look around me, I see our future, the next generation of entrepreneurs, engineers, lawyers, artists, and more. In naming a few of the possible candidates, we have Liam Nelson, someone who will quite likely become a future president of the United States, as he is one of the few adolescent males in existence who would rather watch C-SPAN news on Super Bowl Sunday. Luke Natoli, probably the funniest guy around, and one who will certainly rival Jerry Seinfeld someday. Patrick Chambers, a guy who is always amazing us with his photographic memory and limitless knowledge of history. Tyler Hornage, a talented mechanic who could take apart a car engine and put it back together again, blindfolded. Corinne Banagin, destined to compete as an Olympian gymnast, already having competed in faraway places like Peru, Indonesia, Philippines, and Qatar, just to name a few. And I traveled to Clifton, Demorest, Westwood, and Riverdale for varsity soccer. Not one over the county line. And now it's with deep gratitude that I applaud the faculty members who consistently went above and beyond in their academic deliverance. Thank you, Mr. Smarge, for never failing to crack a corny dad joke in class and showing me what it means to be punctual. Because, as many of you know, punctuality is one of his specialties. Thank you, Ms. Palco, for becoming more like a friend than a teacher to me. And a big shout out to all the other instructors who have helped to shape the minds and touch the hearts of the class of 2021. And to the class of 2021 itself. I encourage you all to stay curious and ask questions. Albert Einstein once said, "The important thing is to not stop questioning." Regardless how stupid your question may seem, and trust me, I've asked a lot of stupid questions, just ask, because only by seeking those answers will you acquire the knowledge you desire. Whether you are the kind of person whose mind went blank just before giving an oral presentation, or you were Scott Gutwitter performing a flawless gymnastic split in front of the entire school during the winter pep rally. Very impressive work, Scotty. We have all been thrown into awkward or uncomfortable situations, but it's the moments like these that truly build our character and teach us to embrace the unknown. I will always remember the times with my fellow classmates when I laughed so hard my stomach began to hurt, or when our 254-pound vice principal crowd surfed at our senior prom. Yes, I did find out his exact weight for this speech. All the joys and memories we have cemented in our past, along with the ones we reminisce about in the present, will be carried with us into our futures and give us a reminder of our Ramsey home, a place that will forever be a part of us. Friends, you have no idea how good it feels to come to the end of another brilliantly delivered and impeccably written speech. Unfortunately, neither do I. Thank you for listening, and go Rams.
Julia, great job. Fantastic. Thank you, Julia. I would now like to present Max Noakes and Matteo Puglisi. They will be singing Two Ghosts by Harry Styles.
Same lips red, same eyes blue, same white shirt, couple more tattoos. But it's not you, and it's not me. It tastes so sweet, looks so real, sounds like something that I used to feel. But I can touch what I see. We're not who we used to be. We're not who we used to be. We're just two ghosts standing in the place of you and me. I'm trying to remember how it feels to have a heartbeat. Whoa, whoa, whoa. The fridge light washes this room white. The moon dances over your good side. This was all we used to need. We're tongue-tied like we've never known. We're telling those stories we already told. 'Cause we don't say what we really need. We're not who we used to be. We're not who we used to be. We're just two ghosts standing in the place of you and me. We're not who we used to be. We're not who we used to be. We're just two ghosts swimming in a glass half empty. I'm trying to remember how it feels to have a heartbeat.
I want to thank the class of 2021 for the amazing memories and friendships, and thank you teachers and staff for the memories as well. Give Miss Ramsey a lot.
Oh, whoa, whoa, oh, whoa, whoa. We're not who we used to be. We're not who we used to be. We're just two ghosts standing in a place of you and me. We're not just to go swimming in a glass half empty. Trying to remember how it feels to have a heart. Whoa, whoa. I'm just trying to remember how it feels to have a heartbeat. Whoa, whoa. I'm just trying to remember how it feels to have a heartbeat.
Thank you so much, Max and Mateo. Appreciate it. Fantastic job. Another hand for Max and Mateo, please. I now have the privilege of introducing to you Bobby Taylor, our co-salutatorian.
Friends, family, and fellow classmates, I will be brief. President Kennedy once said, "Only those who dare to fail greatly can ever succeed greatly." Thanks to our teachers and administrators who stood over us while we learned. Thanks to our friends and family who stood behind us. Thanks to Thajan Pogue for waking me up every morning for class. And thank you to Miss Alcade for helping my sister and I through our high school years. To my fellow classmates, the best is yet to come. Thank you, and have a good night.
Thank you, Bobby. We are now fortunate enough to have the RHS Chorus Seniors sing "I'll Always Remember You" as arranged by Madeline Keene.
I always knew this day would come. We'd be standing one by one with our future in our hands. So many dreams, so many plans.
I always knew after all these years there'd be laughter, there'd be tears. I never thought that I'd walk away with so much joy, but so much pain. And it's so hard to say goodbye.
Yesterday's gone, we've gotta keep moving on. I'm so thankful for the moments, so glad I got to know ya. The times that we've had, I'll keep like a photograph and hold you in my heart forever. I'll always remember you.
Another chapter in the
That was outstanding. Have another round of applause, please. I have the honor and privilege to introduce the Superintendent of Ramsey School District, Dr. Matthew Murphy.
Good evening, everyone. I'm just looking through the program and I see that Regan and Tanner have to speak after me. For the love of God, don't guess my weight. Please. COVID has not been good to me. And if you guess low, please. But anyway, welcome. And on behalf of the Ramsey Board of Education, our President Laura Bierman, and our entire Board of Ed, I welcome you to this glorious night. And it is a glorious night because it represents the best of Ramsey schools. Just a special thanks to the Board of Education because they are volunteers, as you know, in our community, and they didn't sign up for the pandemic. And I just want this community to know they advocated from day one for in-person learning. And I just think that we owe a round of applause to our Board of Education for all that they do. And I also want to take this opportunity to thank Dr. Thumb and Mr. Esdale. You may not realize this, but pulling together the end of the year events like they did isn't easy. It's very complicated. And when you put the unknowns of mandates, where you get them through a tweet the night before, you have to really pivot. And I've said this last year, but I want to say it again. That's what I think of COVID. But the work of, Mrs. Kilday, Mrs. Nagel, Mrs. Gorman. Folks, I've never met a staff and administration that respects and loves your students like their own. So please give Dr. Thumb and Mr. Esdale another round of applause. They are truly special people. To the class of 2021, I want you to look around. Take a moment now and look backwards. You can look back. Look at that majestic high school. One of the finest high schools in the state of New Jersey, and I think one of the best looking high schools around. And I want you to think about not just your 4 years in Ramsey, but all your previous years, starting at Hubbard and Tisdale and Dater and Smith, because tonight is a celebration of not just 4 years, but all 13 years that you had. And I want to thank my administration as well for doing your part in making those 13 years go smoothly. Now, please look above and look at what I think is the greatest American symbol out there, our American flag. And be reminded that we live in the greatest country in the world, and that flag for me represents freedom, pride, and justice. Please don't forget that. Look out in front. Look at our well over 1,000 family members and community members here to celebrate and to recognize your work. And then I want you to look past them. And I want you to see the wall of community services, OEM, ambulance, rescue, fire, police. They represent the best of Ramsey, and I can tell you there is no other town or borough that has this type of community service. And then when you put that together, please thank them. And tonight, as we sit here together as one community, our borough on one side, our fantastic public schools on the other, and our students and our adults in the middle, let us remember, class of 21, and to my friends in the audience, What unites us is greater than what divides us. We are one wonderful community here in Ramsey. Class of 2021, as you move to the next phase of life, college, work, or the military, I have some advice that will be valid for your entire life. And that is, resist the urge to compare yourself to others. Don't be fooled by appearances. You do you. And if your quote unquote friends don't accept you for who you are, then they're not your friends. Move on. To the Team Murph who had the unfortunate bad luck of traveling to Peru with the school superintendent. There were no pirates involved this time. But I remind you that there is a signed confidentiality form, and it still goes past graduation. What went on in Peru, my folks, stays in Peru. And the sun will go through the window. I would be remiss and in a heck of a lot of trouble if I didn't recognize my nephew, Jonathan. My mother-in-law is in the audience, and 30 years later, I am still scared of my mother-in-law. Jonathan, I was lucky and blessed to hold you within hours after you were born. You were a funny-looking kid, but you've grown into it. But you have been a great source of pride for me most of the time. Those earrings, dude, we got to talk about those earrings. But I have loved watching you grow into the young man that you have become, and I am very excited about your future. However, you're old enough to hear this. The day you leave for Sacred Heart, your father's turning your room into a pinball room. So that means you don't have a place to stay, but you can always stay with Aunt Megan and me, okay? And before, because I have graduation, with these guys coming up the party, so I need to clarify because I can't deal with it anymore. It's a Simpson dispute that I need to clarify. Jonathan, where are you? Stand up. Jonathan, you are the GOAT of Ramsey Simpson Wrestling. Your father can't even come a close second to you. You are the absolute GOAT, my man, and I love you. Even Amanda's a better wrestler than your father. And I know your other grandmother is too ill to come here, but Mimi, I know you're watching this. Your grandson is a beautiful person, and you're going to beat this damn thing called cancer, and you're going to live for another 10 years, Mimi, and we love you. Class of 2021, I will be wistful as I watch you walk across the stage and into your next life. You will be draped in the style graduates have used since the 12th century, heading further into the 21st. And there's a good reason for that connection between past and future. Your cap and gown are a well-organized symbol of achievement. Just as your Ramsey education lets everyone know you have an academic mindset and all the thinking skills that you need to be successful. I wish you luck. May God bless the class of 2021. May God bless Ramsey in the United States of America. Enjoy your night.
Thank you so much, Dr. Murphy. I'd like to take a minute before I introduce Reagan Radigan to deliver her address. Reagan is our first ever recipient of the Profile of a Ramsey Graduate Scholarship, as she truly and uniquely represents the goal of a Ramsey education, to take what students learn inside the walls of our building and to transfer that knowledge to solve open-ended, complex problems. Not only did Reagan show tremendous academic growth over the course of her career, but she was consistent in her authentic approach to build relationships with peers, teachers, and community members. I can't tell you how proud I am to introduce Reagan Radigan. You got this.
Hello, and thank you for joining us tonight to celebrate the Ramsey High School graduating class of 2021. I was asked to speak tonight, and for a long moment I asked myself, why am I here? And maybe some of you are thinking the same thing if you know who I am. I don't have a 4.0, I'm not a varsity captain, nor have I ever starred in a high school play. And there were even some times when the school had to call home. Safe to say I've had my fair share of senior skip days. And while I may not be all those things, I've been able to receive a whole lot of recognition throughout my years being a Ram. Kicking it aside for a moment, I want to take this opportunity to applaud my fellow classmates, some of whom are speaking tonight and many others for their perseverance and success throughout the past 4 years. I feel I can speak for all of us here when we say we are proud, impressed, and truly inspired by your accomplishments, and more importantly, your humility. But I also want to thank Ramsey School District for inviting a student, one like me, to represent my accomplished class. For those of you who didn't know, the profile of a graduate is all the 10 skills that the Ramsey community has shown us and helped us develop throughout our education. Standing here today, I am proud that I was the student who completed 2 defenses of learning and was awarded to represent the profile of a graduate. I also want to thank Ramsey's Board of Education and teachers who have provided us with not only a first-class academic education, but a strong personal one as well. They've taught us to be our authentic selves, take chances, and overcome obstacles. Thanks to them, we are equipped with critical life skills that will serve us well throughout our personal and professional lives. Each of us, when we leave here today, is leaving a mark behind in Ramsey. A legacy is the remembrance of someone who is gone, but whose memories stay behind and live on. Ramsey has taught us this, encouraged us to contemplate it, and has guided us through it. When I think about what I want my legacy to be after leaving RHS, I also think about the tremendous legacy my grandfather recently left behind. He loved the song My Way by Frank Sinatra, not Fetty Wap. My grandmother said, after reflecting on his life's accomplishments, he really did do it his way. And while I can't sing all the song's lyrics, I too intend to do my life my way. So what is my way? Although it's cliche, seriously, dance like nobody's watching. Get out there and go for it. Some of us have clearly demonstrated this by participating in the 30 Club, which involves at least 30 boys raiding the mouth hall bathroom and chanting random things before Mr. Fanning has to shut that down. You know who you are. I sang in Dare Idol, I performed in all 3 years of Smith's Middle School's variety show, and ran for class president in 8th grade. But my classmates gave me a run for my money every time. Out of all that, not once did I come on top as the winner. But I am a true believer that the happiest times of anyone's life are the times when they're truly being themselves. Speaking from experience, following your gut, being fearless, being in the moment leads to living your best life. Take chances and embrace your vulnerability. There is no better feeling than getting comfortable being uncomfortable, kind of like this right now. This certainly rings true in my world. I like to embrace every weird and awkward thing that I encounter, which makes me the person I am. Whether it's running a 5K in an Olaf costume, busting out the coffee grinder at Smith School's teen canteens, or impersonating Dr. Phil in a bald cap in my speech and drama class. All of which didn't start comfortably, but were never ever regretted. As I mentioned before, I'm not at the top of the class or a team captain, but throughout the past 13 years at Ramsey, I've realized that you don't have to be recognized here. Because of this, I was able to grow and mature at my own pace. I never wanted to compete with anybody but myself, and I never wanted to change the person who I was or felt that I needed to. I was able to do it my way. Back in 8th grade, my parents and I were a little shocked that I'd received an invitation to Smith School's award ceremony. After watching half of my classmates being awarded for practically solving world peace, this is coming off, I was given an award for the student who showed the most abdominal and back strength as a 14-year-old middle school girl. My aunt then made customized bumper stickers that said, "My kid is stronger than your honor roll student." Although it might have been more impressive to receive an academic award, I proudly hung my plaque acknowledging me as the strongest girl in the grade when I got home. Time and time again, my parents have told me that people will forget what you said, they will forget what you did, but they will never forget the way you made them feel. Ramsey schools have made me feel like I matter. It's why I will always strive to pass that on and make others feel like they matter too, now and in the future. I've been lucky enough to meet some amazing teachers, classmates, and mentors from the Ramsey schools who have shown me my own worth when I've questioned it. While tonight might signify a wrap on our high school careers, we have a whole journey ahead. If there's one thing that I'm grateful for Ramsey, it's the way they let us grow into the people we are today. As you likely know by now, I'm not afraid to try new things, be uncomfortable, fail, and of course, do it my way. I will move forward today, not always as the best, not always as a winner, but as a leader for others. Most importantly, I recognize that perhaps my most valuable role in life is to consider how what I say and do makes people feel, to see my life as greater than the sum of my individual accomplishments. Because in truth, I learned this all from a community of people who've lifted me up every step of the way. My family, my friends, my teachers, Mr. Esdale. To all of you, I offer my sincerest gratitude and promise to pay it forward. To legacies past and to legacies created, I hope we all recognize the power we have to make an impact, even when you're not the best. I will hold on to these memories forever, and I hope you all know how grateful I am to have been part of this graduating class. And I would like to leave you with these lyrics. For what is a man, or a woman, what has he got? If not himself, then he has not. To say the things he truly feels, and not to the words of one who kneels. The record shows I took the blows and did it my way. Until we meet again, go Rams. Oh my God. Thank you.
Thank you, Reagan. We are so incredibly proud of you. Well done. I'd like to invite the RHS Chorus to return to the big stage to sing No Time by Susan Brumfield. thanks again to the RHS Chorus, unbelievably talented. I am happy and proud to introduce Tanner Kleinberg, Senior Class President.
Now, before I begin, my actual speech, Dr. Murphy, I say my guest would be coming in at around like 170 or so. But anyways. Dude, maybe we'd have to recess.
I love him.
Seems like it was under. But anyways, parents, family, coaches, faculty, and administration. Oh, and Dr. Thumb probably deserves to be in there too, I guess. It's an honor to speak before you all today. First and foremost, congratulations to the class of 2021 for having completed what is legally required of us by the state of New Jersey. Statistically speaking, we are much more likely to not spend the rest of our lives spinning a sign outside the local pizza shop or living in our parents' basement. That being said, most other people will finish high school to find a job, maybe go to college, get married, and then work for a paycheck and not a passion, and then they die. And when they leave this world, they do not leave much more than a gravestone engraved with their name. Our time at Ramsey has given us the opportunity to achieve something beyond that of which most people are capable. Our time at Ramsey has given us the opportunity to leave an impact on this world, starting right here with our own community. Warren Trent, IT extraordinaire who is called upon free of charge by every teacher or student if there is an issue with technology. Wherever he is, somewhere. Alex Diamond and Ryan Ducey. With the help of some friends, they brought Ramsey Sports into the homes of people that couldn't be there in person with Go Rams TV. Clap it up. There's plenty of them, so. Reagan Radigan. She single-handedly held fundraisers with Krispy Kreme donuts to ship used shoes to communities in need in Peru. Ryan Martin, school-wide photographer who captured the full range of Ramsey's athletic talent at endless games. And I say we hold the applause till the end. It'll make it easier. Grant Holbrook bleeds blue and gold day in, day out. Nicholas Milne mastered English as a second language while excelling and is now on his way to become a renowned chef. Connor Vatcher never apologized for party rocking. Michael Leno, liked by every single one of his classmates and can bring a smile to anyone's face. Max Noakes, Tyler Hornage, Olivia Frazier, Maddie Keene, Robert Enriquez, and every single graduate sitting here today has made an impact on our community. We nurture our dreams, our passions, to become the change we want to see in the world, to leave our footprints with our names on them, to leave a legacy behind. And as we celebrate today's ceremonies, decorated in our medals, wizard costumes, and rectangle hats, we leave each of our legacies at Ramsey behind and move into the next stage of our lives. After the obnoxious amount of graduation parties and nostalgia-filled goodbyes, we barrel relentlessly towards becoming citizens of a society, one so much bigger than this. We are now armed with all sorts of incredibly useful, absolutely essential life skills like factoring polynomial equations, analyzing 19th century literature, and drawing the mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell. Things adults do regularly. But despite going to school together for the past 12 years, there's plenty I do not know about all of you. I don't know what struggles each and every one of you had to overcome to stand here today. I do not know what obstacles are going to confront you in the future. But if there's one thing you all have proven time and time again, it is this. You have the opportunity to leave an impact on this world. Pursue your wildest dreams. And don't be led by your friends, your parents, your teachers, or by the illusion of what most people claim to be right. Don't let the opinions of most people stand in the way of your legacy. Most people die, buried 6 feet underground. Their grave adorned with flowers in front of a stone inscribed with only their name. That's their legacy. Let your legacy be what most people talk about at the dinner table, in coffee shops, by the water cooler. Let it be what they hear on the radio. Be the stuff that ends up in the paper, in books, in the movie adaptation of that really successful book. Don't let your legacy be a mere paragraph in the obituary column on page 13 of the Bergen Record. Leave an impact. Leave a memory. Leave a legacy that will always be remembered. That legacy, that memory, and that impact starts tomorrow. Today, we stop to look back, reminisce and celebrate all that we've achieved. Then work begins anew. Tomorrow. Go Rams.
Thank you, Mr. President. I now have the honor to again introduce Dr. Matthew Murphy, Superintendent of Ramsey School District, to formally present the class of 2021.
I want to just first and thank Laura Bierman for giving up her time to speak for Reagan, and I thought that was very generous of you, so thank you, Laura. Mrs. Bierman and Ramsey Board of Education, I have been informed by the high school administration that the students before you this evening have met all the standards for graduation at Ramsey High School and have taken all the required courses as specified by the state of New Jersey and are at this time candidates for graduation from Ramsey High School.
Thank you, Dr. Murphy. It is now the time that we have all been waiting for, the presentation of our graduates. Please give us a moment to rearrange the stage in an effort to maximize the visibility of all of our graduates receiving their diplomas. Please note as well, we have a photographer that we have hired to take very high-resolution photos of all of your graduates. Please don't feel obligated to come to take a picture of all of our students. We'll make sure that we have all the photos shared with you personally. So please just give us one moment. Thank you for your patience. So, if you want to grab one of the plants, that'd be great. Thank you for your patience. To ensure each graduate's family hears their name being called, we ask that you please hold your applause until the end of the ceremony so each student can be individually recognized. Thank you. Okay, here we go. Julianne Iacarino. Sophie Cunningham. Julia Demerit. Robert Taylor. The Reagan Radigan. Vanessa Alvarez. Serena Badia. Vedasri Chidamaru. Caitlin Cho. Bailey Felderman. Madeline Keene. Isaac Altman. Arnold Arellano Sosa. David Arpino. Catherine Asensio. Abi Ayagari. Justin Barnes. Jake Barone. Chase Barafoldi. Justin Bello. Corinne Beltramini. Dane Beltramini. Caitlin Bergen. The Daniela Bonanno. Ashling Burke. Kenya Bravo. Connor Brown. Corinne Banagin. Michael Burns. Ryan Busanich. Brendan Bassier. Lauren Cantor. Christopher Carolyn. Jay Castellano. Patrick Chambers. William Cheney. William Chimbe. Amber Louise Clark. Gavin Cochran. Simon Cohen. Emily Claire Connolly. Astrid Corcoran. Claire Corston. Chloe Corey. Blake Creamer. Brian Creamer. The Kimberly Cregan. Eileen Cronin. Fahima Cutlery Walla. Julia D'Amico. Charles DeGasperis. Alexander Diamond. Ava Dolce Mascola. Rayanne Dorland. Charlotte Dreisbach. The Ryan Ducey. Samantha Ducey. Nicole DuPont. Rebecca Eilers. Jake Eleazar. Julia Emerson. Jillian Endress. Paige Elizabeth Enkvist. Robert Enriquez. Robin Falco. Kaylin Farley. Colleen Fian. Harrison Ferranda. Kiki Finlayson. Thomas Fletcher. George Foley. August Frank. Olivia Frazier. Thomas Gaffney. Broderick Galfus. Saul Garcia. The Holly Gardella. Caitlin Garfalo. Nicholas Garfalo. Nico Gemma. The Andrew Gehrig. Brenda Gomez. Noah Gomez Duesa. Kathleen Graves. Andrew Gabala. Scott Gutwetter. Nicole Marcia Hadley. Caitlin Heinowitz. The Molly Henry. Jonathan Herring. Marlon Hernandez. Northrop Grant Holbrook. Tyler Hornage. Aiden Hubbard. Michael Illen. Mir Hamza Ishak. Jesse Jasmine. Elizabeth Grace Jensen. Catherine Keene. Sean, just wait. Sean, 1 second, bro. William Keenan. Sean Kelly. Tara Kelly. Allie Kenny. Allison Loss. Amelia MacDonald. Emma Mulvaney. Gotcha. Max Noakes. Samantha Puglisi. Janie Ratto. Anaka Shin. Gunwoo Shin. Alexa Stetsina. Taylor Taradash. Sion Kim. Ava Kernicki. Brendan Kolhowie. Nicholas Labanowski. Michael Lano. Maria Lebert. Abigail Lim. Ava LaRusso. Christopher Lowry. Psst, Ava. Paola Lucero. Tyler Lundy. The Jacob Magnus. Madison Mann. The Sydney Manzo. Aaron March. Luke Marchison. Ryan Martin. The Brianna McEntee. The Caitlin McGurk. Emma McIntyre. Lindsay McCune. Kaylee McNeil. Matthew Meehan. Jose Melendez. Peyton Merritt. Nicholas Milne. Matthew Maffo. Deepak Mohan. Caroline Monaco. Catherine Monaco. Sierra Mooney. Emma Muscarelli. Andrew Natoli. Luke Natoli. Liam Hamilton Nelson. Jessica Nicole Nixon. Michael Nunziata. Claire O'Keefe. Owen O'Keefe. Sarah O'Neill. Matilda Absuth. Maxwell Oliver. Jordan Pake. Marcus Palucci. Peter Pancrat. Alexander Peros. Emily Peters. Julia Petrosino. Thajan Pogue. Dana Papalakis. The Gavin Quinn. Riza Kurbanzada. Hallie Spires Rash. Giuseppe Rendazzo. Andrew Riedinger. Maya Remissio. Ryan Richter. Rachel Riffle. Jake Mickey Robinson. Gianna Russo. Daniel Sangiuliano. Michelangelo Sciazza. Audrey Grace Schlamp. Jack Schneider. The Brendan Schwartz. The Ryan Schwartz. Gabriella Sebastian. Christopher Shari. Jonathan Simpson. Charleston Simpson. Hey, great job, brother. Best of luck to you. Nirja Sakalingam. Charlotte Soul. Elizabeth Solider. Abe Song. Panos Damas. Gabriel Steiner Morales. Mark Stella. Charlotte Swain. Victoria Tabulov. Dylan Tarabakia. Trevor Telfian. Julia Antonia Tedesco. Brother. Olivia Tokish. Nicholas Tradisi. Warren Trent. Warren, seriously, you can't graduate. We gotta keep it. Andrew Turkin. Robert Tuhig. Amanda Valenci. Connor Vatcher. Sophia Venturini. Matthew Welch. Sean Welch. Abigail Whalen. Nicole Jacqueline Wright. And Mr. President, Tanner Kleinberg. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so proud to present the class of 2021. Please stand. Please stand and be recognized. May your hats fly as high as your dreams. Before the band starts the recessional, I got to take a moment to thank some people. Mr. Kenny and his team for not only the video feed, but keeping our technology working all year. Mr. Wolf, Mr. Jenkins, and Warren Trent for helping with the musical acts and the audio. Our teacher volunteers who were so helpful, and our administrative assistants who are the backbone of this ceremony. And lastly, to you, the families of these graduates, for imparting your trust in us to provide your children with the education necessary to succeed in the next phase of their lives. We thank you. This year's ceremony is a little bit different from last year's, but a few reminders before we conclude our program. Our students are going to walk side by side, gloriously into the sunset, down the middle aisle of the seating area. So keep the middle aisle clear for me, please. They're going to go down the middle aisle, back towards the big gym, one last time into our building to collect their diplomas. Once they pick up their diplomas, they're free to return to the Great Lawn to take pictures with their families. One last very important note. I would like to personally thank two very important individuals, Mrs. Nagel and Mrs. Gorman. Please stand and be recognized. Their love, their energy is unmatched. The senior class would like to thank you for all that you do. Thank you, Thank you, Mrs. Nagel and Mrs. Gorman. Would you please do us the honor of leading the processional down the seating area? This concludes our program. Thank you all for coming tonight. Have a great evening. Congratulations, and go Rams.